Sorry about the technical difficulties tonight, guys. Sorry about that.
Go ahead.
So, anyway, tonight we're going to talk about. I have a question for you. In this day and time where, we have as many Christians are divorcing just as much as, everyone else, should it? I was talking to someone today, and I've had a lot of, unfortunately, a lot of people I know, unfortunately, going through divorce. So my question is, should it be a requirement to have counseling before you marry? Should that become a requirement? Because with the turnover rate and divorce being so high, my question is, if anybody want to take that on and answer that, I'd be love to welcome your input on it. Should it be a requirement? Counseling, like we make requirements for so many things, and I guess the question I pose is, should it be a requirement for counseling to be married? With the divorce and the turnover being as high as it is, what do you think? Should that be a requirement?
Should it be a requirement for you to get counseling or go through counseling before you get married? Is that just as saints or in particular, or what?
No, to the saints, the people well, really, it really could be applicable to everyone. But with the turnover rate being so high, I can't even go over the number of people I've ministered to here in the last 6 months. It's like it's very, very high, and just people not able to stay together, and a lot of different things going on. So what I'm saying is, should it even be a requirement at this point?
Yeah, I'm thinking it should. I mean, especially if a saint, if you want to do everything right, and also, especially if people are certified counselors or marriage counselors, and there's something that you can go through and you can do just to make sure, and have them ask questions that you might not even think of, you might not even ask. And if they've been married before, there's questions that they can have, or something they studied on that they can ask you questions about. And then it'll make you think, is this what I really want to do? Am I ready at this time? Am I sure? Am I financially set? Is my mind all together? Am I all together? So to make you think about stuff, versus you two just looking at each other with rose-colored glasses, thinking that this is it, and we're gonna be good all the way through. So I think it is good for every saint to go through some type of marriage counseling, just to make, and like I said, some good godly marriage counseling, to make sure that when things come up against you in the marriage, that you're going to know how to be able to use God's word, and know that God loves you, and you loving his word in yourself, to be able to deal with the things that marriage brings, versus being, when you're single. I mean, when you're single, it's enough things that's going to come against you. When it's married, then it's double, because you got two people now. Then if you got kids coming, then that's a whole nother story. So yes, indeed.
Yeah, and I think too, been talking to several people over the last 6 months, and it's very heartbreaking too. But I think the thing too, a lot of times is, having those hard conversations too, and that needs to be brought up, because so many times, when I talk to people, I say, well, hey, did you guys talk about this initially? Because I try to ask and most of the time, some of the, couples that I've spoke to more recently, one person just in a rush, they want to go through the counseling, and but then we're having probably the most issues, the person that didn't want to do it, and because here's the thing, it's so many different things that people do have to just have candid conversations about. People have so many, different opinions on how to raise their children, how to spend money. It gets deep. You know what I mean? It gets really deep. And I mean, you have to, because these things can really cause a big division in a marriage. And so to be really open about those things, how you really, really feel, when it comes to discipline, raising kids, and spending money, and, with your credit. you really do have to, you know, and I've been listening to some people here lately that I've been talking to. You really got to go deep, and you got to be able to not be afraid too. Because sometimes some people are probably afraid because sometimes it's what they want at the time, right? And so they're kind of afraid because they don't really want to mess it up because they like, this is what I want, and they set their mind on what they want, but then they're afraid to do that tough assignment. That's what I'm noticing too. Some people are afraid to, you know, get to the nitty gritty because they're scared, you know, well, what if I lose the person, you know what I mean? But, you know, here's the thing. It's better to have the tough conversations up front than later, isn't it?
Yeah. And like I said, I wasn't saved during my first marriage, but, you know, when we got married, we went to counseling because I knew from my first marriage that you need to talk to somebody, you need to listen to somebody so they can ask you again those tough questions about you guys getting married. And then also, one of the things that, again, you need to make sure that you're a whole person and that you're a whole person. So when we come together and to be a whole person, that's less baggage that we're bringing out or that we're bringing to the marriage. You see what I'm saying? Because if I already got myself together and know what I'm doing and where I'm going, the way I'm going, and I'm especially as a child of God, that I know God truly loves me and believe that and know that I love God, His word, and myself, and then you do that, then when we come together, then that's really gonna make us more powerful in the word of God and being able to fight off His enemies and everything else. But when you don't and you still trying to figure you out, and then we trying to get together and be a one, but we still trying to figure ourselves out in our own right, then, you know, that's a hard thing. You trying to figure you out, I'm trying to figure me out, then we trying to get together as one. That's a lot of work right there. And then that's when people always say, well, marriage is hard work. But then with walking the love walk, I say again that when you say something is hard, as the love book says, the ways of a transgressor is hard. But if we walk it, that's what I'm saying. That's why we got to be a whole in ourselves with the love walk. Because see, if it's the love walk and we already a whole walking in God's love, and then the marriage doesn't become hard work. You see what I'm saying? It's still going to be work, just like living on this earth. We know there's going to be trials and tribulations. There's still going to be trials and tribulations in our marriage. Just because we're walking a love walk don't mean stuff not going to happen. But because since we do have the love walk, and you about you're showing your love to me and my love to you, therefore we're always showing love to one another at all times, always thinking of the other before we speak, before we do anything. So therefore we're always meeting the other needs, so the other one never has a need. Therefore, it doesn't make the marriage hard. You see what I'm saying?
And
so
you know,
that's
and then
my thing.
I mean, yeah, and like I said, also just even how people handle conflict. Because sometimes you don't really know how people handle conflict until you know, because like, you know, as I was mentioning, some of the ladies in the situation, you know, the person kind of just went all off the rails, and you know, it got pretty ugly. But sometimes you don't even know how people handle conflict. Now, I just like look at when we first got together. You know, now we learned to work through our conflicts much better. You know what I mean? Because I remember we had a couple blowouts, you know, especially that first 2 years. We had a couple, you know, really heated blowouts there.
More than just
I mean, that I can remember. We had a couple people, and you know, I remember that one time I got so upset because I said you went back. What I felt that you went back on your word, because I said to you because you had went over to your mom's and did something, and I said to you, because you didn't talk to me for them 2 days. You were really upset, and I never seen you to stay that upset for a couple days, and I was shocked. And so I went in on you about that. And so I was about ready to take my bags up. Because I said we made an agreement that we would not do that. We would not. I don't even know if you remember.
I sure don't.
It's so long. Because I said we made an agreement that we would not do that. And I went, oh boy, I went in on you. Boy, you saw an ugly side of me that day. And I was ready to pack my bags. But once I went in on you, you didn't do it anymore. So see, just saying, people have to learn how to resolve conflict. You don't know how people act when conflict is. Now, then you got a story, I'm sure, for me. Because at one time when I left out the house and I was mad and you would not let me back in that door, I had to keep ringing. I said, you better open the door.
Like I said, all that.
That was at the beginning.
But like I said, all that was before the love walk. So again, you're not handling the conflict in that type of love. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if we were walking the love walk at that time, then whatever happened wouldn't even happen that way.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It wouldn't have happened that way because we both would have been knowing better and we both would have been looking out for the other. So again, we were still in the early stages of the love that we were thinking that was godly love. It was just regular worldly love. So we got in our feelings about stuff and in our emotions about stuff. That's why I went to certain levels because of, where we were walking then. So what I'm saying, but if we were truly walking in the godly love and the love walk at that time, then it wouldn't have played out like that because it wouldn't have happened like that. See, like in the last, like you said, now in the last 4 years, I mean, we can get upset about something, but number one, ain't nobody gonna be talking about, well, I'm about to pack up and leave, and well, I want to get out of this, and nobody gets into their feelings and emotions about the situations. Like I said, they say something that they're gonna regret or that they're gonna be sorry for saying, or whatever the case may be. Again, you can be in a marriage and still. Things is going to bother you because there's things that's going to come up that you haven't even experienced before. But now in the love walk, you would handle it different versus what you did then. I wouldn't go around a whole day or two without saying anything with my lip poked out. That's childish. You see what I'm saying? The love walk wouldn't play that because the love walk know better than that. You don't do stuff like that. You don't solve conflicts by being a child and not speaking to your spouse, and then you're supposed to be sleeping in the same bed and you're not speaking to her, or you get up and go sleep on the couch and stuff like that. All that stuff is nonsense. You don't do that with the love walk. The love walk won't have you do that because those are doing nothing but playing games, and you staying in your emotions and the feelings about stuff that you don't operate in that, because then again, if you operate in that, those times that you got your lips stuck out that you're not speaking, and you're talking about for 1 or 2 days for not speaking to your spouse. So that means one or two of you might end up having to go to work, leave the house. So you're not speaking to one another. What we say, the love book says, give the enemy no space. So when you walk out of the house and you're not speaking to your spouse anymore because y'all mad and not speaking, then now you leave the door open for Smooth Sally or Silky Slim to come say something to one of y'all that normally you wouldn't listen to. But now that space is open that you're going to listen to that now. You see what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, and that's a part, but even something else I'm going to say. He said, it says in the scripture, where there's strife, there's every evil work. So, anytime, and that's another reason why I had to learn to chill out over the years, because when you leave that strife there, the Bible says there's every evil work. Anytime you start having too much strife, boy, you better believe the enemy gonna be showing right up on the scene. And so that's why I've learned, like, ooh, no. And you know what? And that strife is, I have used that principle not just in our marriage, but in the workforce with team members, everything. Because see, anytime you get into even a work environment where you have team members that are in strife, I never would tolerate that, because you can't. The Bible says it's every evil work. When you take strife, whether it's in a marriage, or you can take it in a business relationship, workforce, wherever, I guarantee you Satan is going to be on the scene when there's strife. So you have to get rid of it. It has to be, you have to have a no tolerance policy for it, in that marriage or anywhere, really.
Yeah, and again, when you walk it in love, then that is what that is. Love is a no tolerance. Excuse me, for crazy stuff, silly stuff, childish stuff, ignorant stuff. because you're walking in love. So there's no room for that. There's no space for that. And again, that's why I always say walking the love walk is like a stress reliever, because you put away childish stuff and you don't play those games that you would play when you're not. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not what love is about. Love is not about playing games with your spouse, or I'm going to teach you this time, or I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that just to see what they're going to do. See, love don't have time to play those type of games, because love, again, is about showing other people love, godly love. So when you're showing other people godly love, that means you don't have time to play games. You see what I'm saying? That's not even part of your mindset. You don't even think like that when you're walking the love walk, because it's about love towards the other person. And then if you love yourself during the marriage, then you love yourself enough not to play games, because it doesn't do you any good to play games either. Because if you're playing games, that means you're not really walking love. Then that means when you don't walk in love and you're playing games, that means the other person's going to get mad or upset and do the same thing back. So now you got this tension. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I love the love walk, because it cuts out all that mess.
And I guess if I had to take a vote on it, I would nominate that you have to have the counseling, because you're right. It's a good idea. And I think it's not only a good idea, but I think it needs to be extensive, because like you said, we you know, like that old song, let's have a heart-to-heart conversation about this one-to-one loving situation. So we don't talk. You know what I mean? Like, you have to have that heart-to-heart conversation. And sometimes we over-spiritualize things. And, you know, and you know, even we over-spiritualize it. And we have to stay practical, too. Because you can't over-spiritualize things and just pray it all out of the way. You do have to have talk. You know, hey, let's see, what's going on with your credit? You know, hey, you know, hey, if we're going to be doing this together, we got to get this thing in order. We got to get order in the house. You see what I'm saying? Or, you know, like how you spending your money. Hey, what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? You know, you got to have those tough conversations. And sometimes Christians, we have to make sure we're not being all, you know, over spiritual and thinking, oh, we just praying everything away, which we do have to just deal with those tough issues. And another one that I've been dealing with a lot lately is the difference of the rearing of the children. That's been a huge conflict for people that I've been ministering to lately.
Okay, well, let's put that on pause for just a second.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I'm saying put this on pause for just a second, because we're talking about should you get counseling before you get married.
And I'm giving some of the reasons
right.
why.
But what I'm saying is, now then, think about this. Then how long should you be dating before you even decide to get married, to go to that marriage counseling? Because you got these people that say, hey, I fell in love at first sight, let's get married, and next month, 2 months from now and stuff, 3 months in. So how soon then should we even date before we even get to that part about getting married?
Oof. Yeah, you know, now when it comes to the time thing, I'm not you know, one to put a lot, you know, I don't know. I don't really have a really time frame. I mean, I'm just saying for me, I don't care if God's spoken or not. I'm going to be a little bit not for me. I'm just going to say for me, I need at least minimum to get to know you for a year. I mean, I'm saying minimum. That's just for me now. You know, like I said, I can't put a time on someone else, how they feel, how maybe they feel led of God. But I'm just saying for me to be comfortable. I mean, like, even if it is a God, hey, I need to get to know you. We need to have a heart to heart. I want to build something with you. Like, let's have a heart to heart. I need to get to know you, how you think, what you like. You know what I'm saying? As your friend. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I wouldn't care what, even if God spoke it, I was, you know, just like with us. But we've been was friends for so many years. But if it was somebody new still, for me to be comfortable, I need to know you. Like, I need to be your friend. I need to find out what you think, what you like. You know what I'm saying? That's important to me. You know, and I'm just saying everybody's different. There's no set cut rule for all, right? But I like to know where your mind is at. You know, I need to talk about these children. How we gonna handle this stuff? You know what I'm saying?
So I want y'all to throw that in the comments. How long should you date as saints before you decide you're gonna get married to somebody? You know, You know, like I said, you know, you can be full of the love of God, and that person can be full of the love of God. Hey, guess what? You might be able to fall in love within 2 months or 3 months. But even with that, we're still saying go get some good, godly Christian counseling before you get married, no matter what time it is, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, because no matter what time you decide to get married and how long before you decide to get married, then you should get that counseling, like I said, once again, because that person should be asking questions and opening up your mind to things to think about that you might not even thought about, even as y'all become, you know, friends with one another and dating and learning one another. There still may be some things that you have not even thought about because you didn't go that route. You weren't thinking about that. So the counselor can at least put some questions to you to make you think, well, hey, am I ready at this time, or are we ready at this time? Is there still some things that we still need to work out together? Because you'll be like, what's the girl, Michelle and Chad, that new reality show, your girl from Destiny's Child?
Yes.
See?
Yes.
See?
Yes.
Now, there they are, you know, they thinking they about to fall in love and get married, and then they start going to counseling, and once they start going to counseling, that counselor started asking questions, then they're like, oh, wait a minute, we ain't think about that. Well, ooh, I didn't think about that. Or then you pull out some stuff from years past that you thought you forgot about that comes up, and you haven't even dealt with that now, and if you don't deal with that, then how you going to get married and deal with some other things? So I think their story is one of those examples, and like I said, they put it out there on TV, and so they thought they was going to get married, but after going through counseling and everything, now they ain't getting married no more because of stuff that came up in counseling that they thought they had dealt with, or she thought she had dealt with, and that it hasn't been dealt with, and now it's just open up a whole nother thing for you to have to deal with before you get married. Now, there's nothing to say that they can't get back together once they figure it out, but at least they did it and figured it out now if they can't be together versus getting married and then be 1 year in and getting a divorce. And did somebody just get married and got divorced 1 year in?
Oh, I don't know. It's, you know,
there's so many of them to do it, so you just can't keep up with it. Oh, that Offset and Cardi B thing.
Oh,
yeah, they did that. So, you know, it's just one of them things where, you know, and that even shows you can have money. You can be rich, but you still need to go get that counseling. You need to talk it out. You need to find out what's going on, especially in their situation, because they're both entertainers. They're going to be away from each other doing different things at different times. And then here he is with his other band members or other rappers, and they single. So you know when they go out on the road, she already knows what goes on and who trying to do what. And so she hearing those stories, and so she got to be strong enough to handle that. So it's so much stuff that before you get married that you need to talk about and engage with a counselor. And like I said, even if you don't do it together, at least you need to always do it for yourself to make sure again that you are a totally whole person before you get with another person. And hopefully both of y'all are working to become, like I said, that one, so you can walk in agreement together. Because if you're not walking in agreement together, boy, I'm tell you, whoo, yeah, man, it can be some rough stuff, believe me.
Yeah. And I've heard some pretty tough, you know, stories here lately. So, you know, it could get kind of, it could get out there, you know.
Yeah. And the reason again I say that, even though I wasn't saved, but you know, you can still go to marriage counseling even if you're not saved. But just being not saved and married the first time, you know, and then finding out that, you know, when times are getting bad and it's rough, and then somebody to tell you that, well, I didn't want to do this and I didn't want to do that and I didn't want to do that and I didn't want to do that. So I mean, so I've been married to you for 10 years and you ain't want none of the stuff we did and none of the stuff we had, and you didn't. And I'm like, well, good grief, that's 10 years of living a life. So I just wasted 10 years of my life, and you didn't want to get married, you didn't want to have a child at this time, you didn't want to do this, you didn't want to do that. I'm like, well, what in the world was going on? So then, if that's the case, then why, when I said these things, Why didn't you speak up and say something? Oh, I thought that's what you wanted, so I ain't say nothing. What? Oh man, you know how much money I could have saved and decisions would have been made different if you would have said, just talked about what was your truth and what was on your mind and what you really wanted to do, than telling me what I wanted to hear. And you don't know, some of that stuff I might not really wanted to do, or if I would have got a second opinion on something, might have changed my mind about it. So that's why you really I'm telling you, you don't want to waste 10 years of your life. You don't even want to waste 1 month of your life with being with somebody that's not walking in agreement with you or trying to help take you to the next level, or y'all trying to love one another enough to help the other one get to the next level. You definitely don't want to wait and find that stuff out, because like I said, man, that's it's not good at all. So if you're thinking about getting married, or even if I'll tell you what, even if you are married now and never went back or never got the marriage counseling, then go seek it out anyway. Just it's almost sometimes it's like a tune-up in your marriage. Because they might talk to you, like I said, you might go talk to somebody and you'll see something, or they can see from the outside looking in, there's things that they can see and they can pick up after dealing with a whole bunch of couples. They're like, hey, have y'all thought about this and thought about that? Or, are you still dealing with this and have you got that resolved? And then you just never know. Like I said, it's just like going for a yearly checkup, just to make sure that your marriage is still healthy and everything is good. And like I said, just to get that marriage tuned up. So then that way, that you are loving one another enough and loving yourself enough to make sure that your marriage stays in that love walk, so that way y'all can continuously putting more love into each other and back and forth to each other, that, like I said, neither one of y'all has a want and nobody is. I remember there people would say, well, I got married, and when I got married, when we first met, we was both going for our bachelors, but then he told me to go ahead and let him get his, and then when he finished, I can go get mine, and then he gets his and start moving in a different group before she can get hers, and now he done moved on and met somebody else that got their bachelors and moving on in their career, and now she never got hers, or vice versa. So my thing is, again, when you fall in love with somebody, I always ask, well, why did one of y'all have to stop while the other one did what they do? They got night classes online. Nobody has to stop progressing to the next level. Y'all can do it together. Y'all don't have to stop. That one good thing I know about college, guess what? You can go to class on Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, or Saturday morning. I mean, y'all can split that up and get y'all degrees together.
Well, I don't know, because sometimes what I'm saying is it's not always feasible for two people to do the same thing at the same time, is what they're probably saying.
Let me tell you something.
Nope.
If a single woman, that woman was on Oprah, if that single woman with 5 kids can go be a lawyer, you don't think she was struggling with time issues and everything? 5 kids.
No, I'm just
so what I'm saying is, if a single woman with 5 kids can go get her law degree and she can make it happen, then you telling me 2 parents can't work it out? Especially with, number one, we're talking about a lot of time when they first start out, so there ain't no kids involved. So you tell me they can't find, like I said, if there's kids involved, just like that mother with 5 kids and got her law degree, when it's something that you really want to better yourself and make yourself better, you can find the time to make it happen.
And all I'm saying,
tell me what you say.
Is I've talked to many couples who, they were the one person, it was too much for them to do 2 things at one time. I ain't saying that. The first person did what they needed to do, and then later on, the other couple, they supported that person, then that person went and did what they needed to do. I've seen it work.
I didn't say it couldn't work. I'm saying, why do you?
Because sometimes it was hard for both of them to do what they wanted to do at one time.
A lot of things are hard, but they can still be done. And you know from things that we've done and things that we've seen, especially in business, and I've done when I used to promote concerts and stuff like that. When people want to do something and they really want to do it, they find the time to do what they want to do. I don't care how tight money is or whatever. Just like people to get their hair done. I don't care if they didn't get paid that week. Some kind of way they find money to get their hair done. Some kind of way people find time to do what it is that they truly want to do. So I don't want to hear, well, they both working and they both, and the kids.
Well, I'm just telling you, it happens. It happens all the time.
I didn't say it couldn't happen. I'm just saying you can make time to do what you need to do for one another, especially when it's two of y'all. No one has to really stop doing and put themselves, put themselves on hold because time is passing. And you never know in time what could happen.
I don't know if that's always feasible.
You keep saying that. Okay,
but,
yes,
we have a right to agree.
You can do it. Yes, you can. I ain't gonna. You can do it because you always make time for what you want to do. Okay. And if two people are truly loving one another and looking out for one another, both of y'all can go to college at the same time. So, like I said, you can't tell me that you can't go to work.
We don't listen.
I'm just saying time-wise, where you can find out what you want to do. So you got two people working. Let's say they both working from 8 to 5, right? Even if they had kids, like you said, you can go to school online now. You can go to school one on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, the other one Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So you can't tell me in today's time with so much technology that both of y'all can't get y'all degrees at the same time.
We're not just talking about degrees when I say it's feasible. It could be anything where both people may not feel like, hey, I'm going to let you do this.
Okay, well tell me, give me another example then. Because I ain't letting nobody get away with this in this time. But you tell me something that
someone maybe want to pursue their dream to,
No, I ain't talking about just one person. I'm talking about both people. See, if just one person, well, that's solved. Only one person wanted to go to school right now. But I'm talking two people trying to get their degrees. They come together because we were talking about getting married. So we're talking about getting married and come together.
What if I wanted to be, just to give you an example. Okay, so I wanted to say, I want to be author full time. And then you say, well, hey, I want to just do nothing but the ministry full time. Mm-hmm. It's just like, come on. Like sometimes you
What's the problem?
You can't
so you hold up, check this
that.
out. Nope, see, I'm glad you came up with that stuff.
I don't think that's feasible all the time.
How not? If you want to be an author full time, guess what? All you doing is writing. Then there's going to be a time once you finish writing everything, the publisher has to get the book ready, which is going to take some time. So that means you're going to have some time off there where you're not doing anything because you got to wait for the book to be published. Then they have to go do the promotion and the advertisement. There might be 3 or 4 months where after you finish the book, you're not. See, that's what I'm saying. There's always time to make time for things that you want to do. Same thing with a lot of actors are coming on TV now. A lot of actors are coming on TV now saying that they are positioning roles in TV shows around the family instead of like the old ones do, just keep going to work, keep going to work, keep going to work. Why? Because they're seeing that they're missing out on family time and their kids are growing up, and then by the time they get home and settle down, the kids are grown and they really don't have no relationships. So these newer actors are like, nah, this ain't happening. Or they're saying that my mom and dad did stuff this way. I'm not going to do that this way. I'm going to make time out to be there for my kids for the first step, for first things that happen, or I'm going to start showing up at some type of games. I'm going to start doing something because, again, we didn't learn the love walk back in the day. So as men, our whole thing was to put food on the table, put shelter on your over your head, and get clothes on your back. We wasn't taught to love our family. We weren't taught love. We were talking about how we had to provide and take care, which we was thinking that was love. See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's all a part of it, but there was no emotional or quality time with the family, because we like, hey, we work, we come home, we eat, we go to bed. We come home, we eat, we make babies and go to bed. That's what a man's role was. So we weren't thinking the loving part of the family. And see what I'm saying? Nowadays, men are getting the thing and they start walking in a love walk. So now they try to spend time with their family, do things with their family, take their family places to build a whole loving family dynamic so that their child don't end up growing up like they were. You see what I'm saying? Because they see how they were missing out on things with the family because they were too busy just working all the time. Because that's what was instilled in us. You work, you protect your family, you provide for your family, you work, you protect your family, you provide. It never said nothing about providing emotional support, being there, spending quality time with them. You see what I'm saying? So
well, that's
again,
definitely was not the way it was growing up. You know, you're right. Everybody.
So I'm saying, you will make time, and love will find the time. And there's 24 hours in a day. You will make time. I don't care what both of y'all want. Both of y'all want a career. Both of y'all will make time where you can both do that, because I would hate to do that. I would hate that if when we got married and you was going to get your bachelor's degree, and then I was going to get my degree, and then I'm going to say, well, don't get yours right now. So now I'm putting my degree over your degree. You see what I'm saying? I'm telling you don't do nothing right now. And then don't mean something would happen, but just in case it did, then you put yourself on hold for maybe 3 or 4 years. And then, like I said, then I started moving up in a different crowd. And then I look at you and say, you ain't even got no degree. You can't even take yourself to the next level. And then I'm going to places where people are degreed and owning their businesses. So now I'm looking at stuff different. And then I see somebody else that I admire as a woman for what she's doing, where you could have been, but she's there now. And then I go that route. And now I leave you with no degree. You've been staying at home. Now we got a kid and stuff. And see how you get stuck?
Yeah, I mean,
see what I'm saying?
It can happen.
Yeah, it can happen. So why? But it shouldn't have to happen like that. That's what I'm saying. I don't believe it should happen. I mean, if somebody want to get married and step down and let somebody else step up, and you crossing your fingers and praying and hoping that it doesn't happen that way. If it doesn't, all good. More power to everybody. But me personally, I don't want nobody to step down from doing what they're going to do, because I'm saying I know that you can, if you truly love one another, y'all both can have it. I mean, y'all can make time. I done seen too many people make time for what they truly want to do and truly want to spend their money on. So that's why I'm not accepting that, the other person step back for the other person. Nope, both of y'all can have it. Both of y'all can do it. You can make time to do it. If you love one another, you're going to make time to do it, even if you got kids. If that single woman with 5 kids, and that mean they all still in school, so that mean they're anywhere between elementary, junior high, and high school. If she got 5 kids and still can make time out to become a lawyer, single mom, then I know 2 parents can do.
Like I said, everybody have a choice.
Yeah, it's a choice, but I'm saying make the choice not to again love God, love His Word, and love yourself. Love yourself enough, and y'all both should have the love for one another that the other one doesn't have to put anything on hold. So that way you both can come up at the same time. That's just how I feel about it.
Okay.
I think I kind of feel strongly about that, huh?
I think you kind of do. and
I was in the Army. No man left behind. Let's go.
Hey, that's fine. We all have a right to feel the way we feel, And I know what your motivation is great. I don't think you're coming. I think you're coming from a great place. We see it slightly different. That if one do it, I see in the other maybe wait. I don't see an issue on some situations, depending on what it is. Obviously, there's a lot of factors involved. But hey, I know what your motivation is. I think you're coming from a good place, but we don't quite 100% see it the same, and that's okay.
It's opinion.
Differences make the world go round.
But the thing is, you definitely need to, as we were saying, seek some kind of marriage counseling before you decide to go ahead, tie the knot, jump the broom, whatever you want to say it, bind the ties, all that kind of good stuff. But you definitely need to go ahead and seek that out, look into that, and make sure, because when we got married, there was a lot of couples that we knew that were married, and now most of them people not even married no more. So now they all single. So we just it's just too much. And as somebody that's been divorced before, I don't care if it's a marriage that was just going bad anyway, and it just was a toxic marriage. Even when you still get divorced, it still don't feel good. It still hurts. It's still painful. You still kind of feel like, what did I do wrong and all that kind of stuff. So just make sure that if you're not married, that you truly look into some type of help, some type of counseling, talk to somebody, especially somebody that's a godly counsel that's going to come to you in God's love when they ask you these questions and when they have you to think about stuff and look into stuff. And another thing that I want you guys to do also is, even before you go to marriage counseling, and like I said, this is just my thing. If you can, and if you can get there, always go back home with your soon-to-be spouse. Always go home to your soon-to-be spouse. If you don't go home and you get married, even if you had marriage counseling, and when you go see mama and them, ooh, Lord have mercy. It might be some things you be like, now I see where they got it from. Now I see why they do that. Ooh, Lord, is that where they get that from?
Yes. You can
and there might be some things that, like you said, you know, that you want to know in advance before you get to that point. But I'm telling you now, if you go home and see your potential spouse family and how he interacts with his mom and his dad and how they interact with him and how the rest of the family thinks and their mindset, you definitely need to see that before you say yes also. Because then that will also help you understand your spouse better and how they grew up and what their mindset is and how they think. And even sometimes they might not even, your spouse might have gone away and went to school or something and has been away from his family for a long time or her family for a long time. But still, there's things that he might do or she might do, or things that the family might say to them that you're like, well, why would they say that? So that's why you need to go home and look and see what's going on back there, what's the mindset is, what's happening. So that way you can understand some more things about your spouse even before you get into marriage counseling.
Yeah, because I think with every family, people have their own language in each family that, you know, you may be comfortable with because that's the way you guys communicate. And then somebody else, you know, it could be totally different for the person. You know what I mean? Because, you know, each family has their own lingo and how we are with each other. But then, you know, for the person coming in, like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, it could be totally different.
How a lot of times on movies and TV shows that you see a person was born somewhere that they ashamed of, and then they act like they from somewhere else, don't even tell you about their home life or nothing. And then, you know, so they try to put on this whole different persona of who they are, trying to be totally separate from what their family was. Yeah. And then when you get married, and then they try to keep it hush hush still, and then all of a sudden they have to go back and you go back with them, or you, like I said, you think this is a big world, but you mess around and be out eating one day and then run up on their family members, and then they come over, hey y'all, how you doing? And you're like, what? Who is this? What is going on? So that's why you definitely need to, and then and just because they're country, or they could be snooty, or they could be prejudiced. You see what I'm saying? There's a whole myriad of reasons why your spouse might not want you to go meet their family. But guess what? Just like that marriage counseling, you need to get it done before you get married. You need to go meet that family before you say I do. And like I said, even before you go to marriage counseling, go, hey, let's go meet your people. Let's go see what's up. Because it will open your eyes to a lot of things that your spouse may do or do down the line, or you can tell how they were raised and what the thinking was and all that kind of stuff. So that also is a must. So put that on the checklist. Number one, before we get married, must meet family. Go do that. Then number two is go to that marriage counseling. If you decide to take it, if you decide to you can get through the family, then go get that marriage counseling. Believe me, do it.
And it don't need to be brief. It needs to be extensive stuff too. Because, you know, like I said, you know, all this little brief stuff, you got to get down to the get down when you get, you know, to that counseling. Hey, they call the TV show Marriage Boot Camp. And that should be the same way with people go to counseling.
Well, no, don't be like that.
Well, no, not like that. No.
They
no,
get
what
paid.
I mean is extensive.
Yeah, they get paid.
You know, you
to
see
act
the
the fool.
counseling get down into the root. That's what I mean. I mean more like what's her name would do, Ayana. She get down to the bottom of it. you know, and she, yeah, you know, it needs to get down to it, you know what I mean? Get extensive, you know, whether it's not just this one day thing, you know, okay, blah, blah,
Well,
blah,
I mean, it's
blah,
like
you know.
anything else. If I mean, I never heard of it. I'm sure they don't even offer it. But if it's just like anything else, if you can go to work 8 hours a day and get stuff done, then if somebody's talking to you in a whole 8 hour broken down into different sessions, 8 1 hour sessions of, okay, this part is dealing with finance, this part is dealing with this,
see,
the two of you and something like, yeah, you could do something like that.
Yeah, that would be good.
And
you break it down.
Yeah, you break it down.
The children, extended family,
yeah.
And you know, just like even with extended family, it's a big deal because everyone have extended families now. So see if the class could be, like you said, of all of those different things, you know, and so you could cover a lot of things. And you're right, that's huge, because if you could cover all those issues in the little class, you know, you don't know what kind of seeds you could sow and impact the person. You know what I mean? Because you know, like you said, it's all about the quality. You know what I mean? The quality of the work that they would put out there more than anything. Not so much as you're right, maybe how many days or anything, but the quality of the teaching. You know what I mean? And to get down to the root of these very important issues, to help you to dissect them, to help you to think on them, help you to analyze them, you know. Yeah, that's the most important thing.
Because even within that type of curriculum, you can do some role playing and everything. Man, come across something like that.
And you know, make you think, make you have fun. You know what I'm saying?
Bring in some of them fake crying babies that you can have to take care of. See how you handle a baby just crying and you can't shut it up and all that kind of stuff. Shoot, man, you can have a whole serious course there.
Yeah.
Somebody need to get with me on that. Let's come up with a whole 8 hour curriculum. Somebody call me. LoveSingMinistries@gmail.com. You know the deal. We gonna let's put something together. But
that's a good one. I think.
Yeah.
I think we may have just hit on something.
But that definitely need to be done, because, like I said, you know, if we can get people to really walk the love walk, and then then they can get married, understanding the true love of God for one another and how to move in God's love and loving themselves, then again, it won't make it hard, because you already have the foundation of understanding and knowing that God loves you. You love God, His word, and yourself. So you're already building that foundation, as we're talking about. So if you're going to go in a marriage, then we got to teach you how to build that foundation first. Then once you got that foundation down, then when we get into the other things that deal with marriage, then you'll be able, then the marriage won't be hard work. See what I'm saying? It won't be hard work. It'll just be you dealing with issues in God's love, and then you will kind of be equipped on what to do and how to deal with these things when they come up, or when even new things come up that you never even thought would come up. But you know now how to deal with those things. And so it makes it easier and less stressful to walk in that marriage and do things together in that marriage, that you won't have the issues that some of us had, because we didn't have that kind of counseling or that kind of we didn't learn how to build it on that type of foundation. So
yeah, talking is really good, communication and learning and educating, you know. I mean, you think, and now that you think about that, something that's so important like that, why in the world would we spend not enough time, you know, educating?
It's just like the love walk. It wasn't something that was taught because you didn't think about it. If you were never taught something, then you don't think about that thing. So that's why I'm so hard on the love walk, because now that I got it and I understand it and see how important it is, then I want to make sure people get that too. So it's the same thing with marriage counseling. You know, people just started going to counseling, you know, some years back. They just started. But as far as it being a thing to do, like you were saying, why don't we? It was because we didn't talk about it. We didn't put that as part of, especially as saints. We didn't put that as part of the process of getting married, is to get together and build that foundation, and then let's talk about what we're going to do and how we're going to do and how you're going to work with things and deal with things as you get married and as you walk through your marriage to make it easier for you. So since we didn't make that a priority, then why would they think of doing it? They just know, hey, let's go get married.
Yeah, I guess that's true, huh? You got to make it really
And
something.
and if your family didn't, again, if your family didn't, it's like going to college. If you got everybody in the family going to college, then everybody talks about what? Going to college. If you got come from a family that don't nobody go to college, then why anybody talking about going to college? You see what I'm saying? Until one day somebody says they want to go to college, then if you don't have loving parents that say, you know something, son, you'll be the first one to do it. We're proud of you. Go ahead, try it. Or daughter, go ahead and do that. But if you coming from one of them people that nobody went to college, you might get the, well, why you want to go to college? Nobody else in our family went to college. You don't really need college to do what you need to do. Da, 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 da. You see what I'm saying? So you got to have that loving, that love. Even and we talked about that not too long ago. You have to have that same love from your parents to pass it on, so you can have it, so then you can pass it on. See what I'm saying? But we know a lot of our parents, there wasn't no such thing as counseling. They didn't even talk about going to counseling. So why would they bring it up? So you got years and years and years of nobody even mentioning about going to counseling, versus now we're just starting to get it together. So it's still not a thing that you should do. And then most people, if their family is not a loving family or backing up that love, then why would they want to go and talk to somebody, or a church home that's not really talking about the love of God? Then why would they want to go to those people to tell them about how they should be in love in their marriage when their church and their family is not part of that dynamic? So that's why we're talking about it now. That is very important that you go get some love counseling and build that foundation on knowing that God loves you and you love God, His Word, and yourself. Ooh, it's 9:58 already. Yeah, great time flies.
Yes. Wow, it sure does. I guess when you get into these good old juicy topics, that's what happens.
All right, so the bottom line is, go get that marriage counseling, please. Go home and visit those family members before you get married, please. So make sure you do that. Make sure you always walk in the love of God and let God love you, so you can know what love is, so that you then can love yourself in that same love and pass that on to everybody on a daily basis. So we appreciate you tuning in. Once again, sorry about what happened up front. I messed around and had the camera all twisted. They didn't want y'all looking at the show like this, like what they doing. So we kind of got messed up, but we appreciate y'all hanging in there with us. And once again, she's gonna go this way. I'm gonna go that way. I'm gonna give her a kiss first to show her that I kind of like her a little bit. You know but y'all continuously walk in love. Again, love yourself. Love, and here's what the love book says. It says to love your neighbors as you love yourself. So if you really love yourself, then aren't you supposed to love your neighbors the same way? See how important love is to God? Because He is love. So again, we'll see y'all here tomorrow, because tomorrow is Friday. So we'll see you here at the same love time, same love channel. So until tomorrow, walk in God's love. All right.